everyone, today we have this little woolly hat to do for our advent page, which is rather cute. I'm having a look and I'm thinking colours. I'd quite like a blue hat, not really sure why, I just think that's quite a good colour for a hat. So I'm going to start, I've got my Polychromos again, as I am for all of these. I'm going to start with the light phthalo blue. I'm just going to put a colour over it, and then we're going to get to work on thinking about how we're going to make it look a little bit different. Now, if you find it a little bit tricky to add so much detail or different shades and tones and things, just colour it in. You've got some lines here already to indicate the wool. I mean, you could do it in the stripe actually. I don't think it's supposed to be striped, but you could if you wanted. I think the lines are supposed to show the knit, but you know, it's all open to interpretation, so it doesn't really matter how you do it. What I'm going to do next is to try and draw in where I think there might be some shadow, and then we'll change colour. So I'm keeping with the same pencil at the minute, and I'm thinking under here where down here where the folded bit is, it will create a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to just sort of put that in. It's quite a thick amount I've put in, and the same sort of around this bow, which is rather cute. I've never seen a hat with a bow on like that. And I'm thinking maybe under the bobble as well, might be a little bit, and probably on the edges a bit more, just to make it look a little more rounded. We'll probably end up colouring nearly all of it now, but I think it's okay. There we go. Now with this piece, the way it's drawn, I think it's supposed to be a little bit darker top and bottom. Now I don't want it to be as dark as here, although I can darken that if I need to anyway. So a little bit here and here, and just take that up a bit and down a bit. So we've got a lighter bit in the centre. Gonna close that up there and there. Just so it gives it a bit of a shape. Yeah. Now inside it's going to be darker, so I'm going to put a darker layer there and then just fade it towards the edge where there would be more light. Okay, that's our start. Now I'm going to go a shade darker. We've got our middle phthalo blue, which we can use, and darken a few areas, so I'm going to sharpen that a little bit. And I am going to go under here where I think it will be really quite shadowy. Just layer up that blue a little bit more, make it a little bit darker, and then along this edge I want a sort of defined shadow, and around our bow, so just around, just underneath the black line really, and a little bit around there. There we go. There's that a little bit more. Now we would have a sort of knitted pattern on here, and I think we can do that with an even darker. So I'm going to take the phthalo blue to do that. Sorry, let's try and keep you straight. Sharpen it so it's really fine, a point, and then we can draw it in. So think about the lines that are already drawn in. We're going to follow those a little bit. Now you might want to practice this first if you're a bit not very confident with the drawing, or you can just miss this out. I'm just putting in a few extra lines just to make it look a bit more like we can see the sort of weave of the wool of the knitting really. Oh, I just put my hand through some, it felt sticky like the glitter was wet, but it shouldn't be. We can do the same on this bit. Now we've got no lines drawn on the inside, so I'm wondering whether it's supposed to look like it's lined, because sometimes the hats are lined, aren't they, with a sort of cotton or something. So I might not do them on that one. There we go. But we also need to go across, because it would go in both directions. Now that's going to be a little bit more tricky because we don't have any guidelines apart. Like, we'll do this bit first because it's easy. We've got this line here and this line here, so we can sort of follow that line across there and then try and sort of keep the same angle. Whoops, I've gone out of the lines. Like that. So we've got both into. Now here we've got a curve, so a little more tricky. I think I'm just gonna try and make it go up a little bit in the center like that, but then it's not curved down here, so we need to sort of reduce that angle a bit. There we go. Now I'm going to try and erase where I went out of the line. I can find, yeah. There we go. Now next I want to do my background. Before I do my bow and my pom-pom, because the pom-pom is going to overlap the background, I'm going to use some white or probably to make it look fluffy. So if we do the background first, then we can put it over the top. I think that's going to work better. So I have to decide what colour. We've got a pink and a purple there, so we can't have that. I'm just having a look at the colours that I've got available to me. I've got a different shade of pink I could use. Could use red. I haven't got a red background yet, and that's because I'm not keen on the idea of a red background, but I guess we need to do one. Yeah, let's do red. I'm going to start with my darkest and then get lighter. So this is the dark red. This is what I'm going to use in my corners. Try not to knock you too squiffy. So really intense there, and then start to fade it down. Like that. I'm sort of scumbling it little circles. You can see my scumble pattern at the moment, but hoping that will disappear a bit once we add our next colour or couple of colours. And same on this corner, just fading it a bit, join it up a little bit with just a sort of really faded colour. Same here. The weave on the hat almost looks a bit ginghamy, doesn't it? That wasn't really my intention, but I'm still liking it though. And I'm sort of thinking about what colour to do the pom-pom and bow while I'm colouring the background. And I'm thinking maybe a darker blue might stand out from the hat, rather than going for a different colour altogether. I'm thinking maybe even a bit of an indigo with some white or something like that. That's where my brain's going at the minute. Whoops, that's a bit messy, isn't it? Just a bit of lighter colour. Excuse me, where should I go? Which way should I go? Towards Madder? Should I go towards... What's that, Pale Geranium Lake? I think that might be too pale, not do that. Yeah, I think I'll go to Madder, so we'll go a little bit pinkish. See how that works out. Because it's still red rather than pink. Yeah, it looks quite different to the colour up there. I might draw some snow on this one, just because it's a winter hat. You know, it gets me thinking of snow. I really don't wear hats. I thought about it, but I haven't. If it was really, really cold, I think I would. But my hair doesn't like hats. My hair doesn't like wet, it doesn't like wind, it doesn't like anything really. It doesn't like having clothes put over it, coat, collars, anything really. It's just rubbish. Just goes frizz, 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 frizz. Right, I'm gonna try and make sure we can see that this corner is a little bit darker. I like this darker corner effect. So I think I explained right at the beginning of the calendar pages, I like, I see watercolours where people have done this and it looks so good. Try and replicate it in a pencil, it's quite difficult, but with a small background you can overlap this a bit, because we're going to do some pen work on the bobble, but on a smaller area it's a bit easier. Covering a large area with watercolour is much easier than pencil. I think so anyway. Nearly done. It's quite, hasn't really faded massively, has it? It looks quite dark all over. I think I'm going to go back to the dark red and just redo the corners a little bit, to try to show that it's a bit darker. Well, hopefully my stomach isn't rumbling now. I had a snack. My son said, "How are you hungry already?" I was like, "I don't know." My stomach was rumbling. There we go. So yes, I think we'll go for a dark blue. I'm almost thinking indigo, but that's very dark. I am going to try a bit of indigo. It's dark indigo, so it's very dark. Let's do the little ribbon first. So I'm thinking a bit darker at the bottom and the top. It gives it a little bit of shine, because I don't know if it would be knitted. I don't think it would be. I mean, you could knit it, but I think it would be more likely to be a little fabric, silky ribbon. So that's how I'm going to colour it. So we're leaving this sort of a bit of a gap, so we've got some contrast. We can put a bit of darker, a few darker bits in there, as if it's sort of scrumpled a bit like that. Now this one, I want more than one sort of shade, so I'm going to start off really lightly and just colour it all over. Then I'm going to start adding my fur or wool. It's wool, isn't it? I should imagine. You want to overlap, as it is printed anyway, that it overlaps, because then it looks more furry. I'm trying to work out whether to overlap it downwards a bit as well, because it looks like it's on the back of the hat rather than here, so I might put a bit overlapping here as well. There we go, and I think grabbing a white, I'm going to use the 8 to do a little bit in it. Helps make it look even fluffier. And that's why, so we're going over the edge now, I pick such a dark background and then the white stands out. Whereas if you've got a light background, the white basically just erases the background, doesn't really look like it's doing much. You know, you can't really see it. There we go, I'm just going to go over there a bit, around there, edges. There we are. Now you could put some glitter stripes through that as well if you wanted, but I don't think I will. What I am going to do is grab this indigo, the dark indigo, and do the inside of the hat to make it even darker. I'm thinking it would be a bit more shadowy, and this matches our bow and sort of our bobble. So let's just put a bit more in there. There we go. You could do some stripes. You know how we've done this weave? You could do some stripes in the indigo, but I don't really think that's going to work, to be honest. I don't know why I said it. Now I'm thinking I do want some snow in the background. The background is very plain. So I'm going back to my 08 and I'm just going to do some little clusters. Some actual, no, dots. You can do them different sizes if you want to. You know, if you go like that, you get a bigger dot than if you go like that. The quicker you take the pen off the paper, the smaller your dot is going to be. You know, if you press like that, it's a bit bigger. If you do a quick flip, it's smaller. I can do snow underneath the hat as well. It seems a little odd, but I just want it all to match. There we go. Yep, I think that's done. I'm happy with that. If you did want to put a bit of glitter or a bit of metallic, you could go around the edge of the bow with some, or as I said before, pop some into the bobble, but I'm happy with it as it is. So there we are. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, hope you have a super day. Stay warm and happy colouring.